Hello, my name is Jim Salmons, and today is February 2nd, 2018. And today I'd like to give you a quick demo of the progress that we've made on a digital humanities related metadata discovery and validation tool called the FactMiners Ad Ferret. But before we crank that up and take a look at the functionality of the ferret, let's do some quick background. FactMiners and the Softalk Apple project are two projects that my wife Timlin Babitsky and I have dedicated ourselves to as part of our post-cancer Pay It Forward bonus rounds. For our 25th wedding anniversary, we funded the complete scanning of the Softalk magazine into the Internet Archive. That's 48 issues of the dawn of the microcomputer and digital age is told through incredibly rich and detailed magazine that was published monthly from September of 1980 through August of 1984. Rather than just scan the magazine and put it into the archive, we wanted to do some quality research and applied research in the development of a complete ground truth edition of all 48 issues of the magazine. And for that, we have developed the magazine ground truth storage format, which is an integrated content depiction and document structure model based on the International Council of Museums conceptual reference model for museums and archive called the CIDOC CRM, and its subsidiary ontologies of FRBROO and PressOO. On this ontological stack, we are developing an extension of the Prima page XML ground truth storage format. Prima is the pattern recognition and image analysis research center at the University of Salford. The magazine GTS format is unusual in that it is based on an integrated document structure and content depiction model. On the left, what you see is we're very pleased and proud that in 2017, FactMiners and the Softalk Apple project were selected. Two of our papers were selected as posters for DayTech 2017, which is the European Impact Center of Excellence in Digitization's conference, Digital Access to Textual Cultural Heritage. This is the poster that we presented at the conference, and it is a summary of where we were at the time last summer. What we've worked on after the digitization was that we realized that one of the foundation things that was needed before we could really develop an integrated content depiction and document structure model was we had to have the foundation of a map between the print page numbers of the magazine and the image IDs, in other words, the digitized image file names in a map that would allow us to reference the print page numbers of magazines in their digital form. That tool was called the print page number ferret, and we used it to develop the print page number to leaf map of all over 9,500 pages of the 48 issues of Softalk magazine. With the print page number to image map, we were then able to identify the ad index in each of the issues and OCR and curate that into a data set that was the ad index. What that looks like in terms of the magazine, this would be a typical page, the contents, masthead, and in the early days, everything fit on one page. Eventually, the contents and advertiser index grew to 2 and 3 pages in the magazine. But right here, what you see is that the advertiser index for each issue tells us what companies had advertisements on what page. And with the print page to leaf map, we would then be able to create a tool to allow us to chase down each of these ads and identify not only that these companies advertised on those pages, but what products were advertised, how big and in what position, was it color ad, black and white, and so on. So in other words, we would be able to generate a significant addition to the ground truth model of Softalk magazine by curating the advertisements in the magazine. The way that we did that, we'll take a quick look. This is the Softalk publication.xml file. It is the file that is in our collection. It's the only magazine collection at the Internet Archive with the magazine ground truth storage format data, which is being developed through our project. The file itself, which of course is a pretty standard XML file, if we look at it in terms of the basic structure, the metadata just identifies which version of the schema and whatnot we're using, but it basically breaks down into the meta model itself, and then the meta model is a model of the magazine's document structure and content depiction. So the meta model describes data sets that you'll find in the document structure and content depiction model partitions of the magazine ground truth storage file. If we look at the meta model is built on reference models, and I already mentioned that we're building on an ontological stack of CIDOC CRM, FRBROO, PressOO, and Primus Page ground truth storage format. We're contributing FactMiners MAGAZINE ground truth storage model to this model for the publication. This magazine, the Softalk magazine's meta model, has two partitions: document structure and content depiction. The content depiction is what is the magazine about, and in this case, it's so far we're pretty slim. The content is about entities. Entities can be actors, and these actors can be persons and organizations, companies, and user groups, and so on. Where it gets interesting and where we're doing, I think, some groundbreaking work is that the document structure meta model is based on PressOO issuing rules, where rather than use very generalized issuing rules like the magazine will be called Time Magazine and produced once a month, we're using issuing rules as a repository for fine-grained ontological design patterns, so that they reflect the deeper insights that the people who design a magazine and produce it would have thought of and adhered to in order to get a brand and identifiable profile for a series of issues of a magazine. In this case, the two that we've kind of teased out so far is the page layout model, which is about the column grids on any given page. And in Softalk, those column grids are either a whole page, like a full page ad, one column, two columns, or three columns. In order to do the data set of advertisements, we detailed the advertising model. Advertising model would be obvious things like what are the sizes of the ad, what shapes are they allowed to be in, what rules determine the size and shape combinations, and what positions those sized and shaped ads can be in. So we, as you'll see in the Ferret, we are reading this advertising model to configure the Ad Ferret. And the Ad Ferret is from the meta model. If we now then look at the actual data sets that are in development, we'll find a couple of things. One is, because we curated the advertiser index, we know a lot about a bunch of organizations. In fact, in curating the ad index, we already know that there are 907, let me get this to open up. There are 907 companies that were advertisers in Softalk, and these companies, at this point, all we care about is their names. That's all that we got out of the ad index. So when you see these first few companies, you'll see them when we start to take a look at the live Ad Ferret. So we've got organizations we know about in terms of content from the advertising index, and we know in terms of advertisements, we have that data set of the index listings. And so there are 7,157 different sightings of ads that we know about in the issue. And we know what company and what issue on which page number. And that's the map that the Ad Ferret will use to help us develop this second data set, which are the ad specifications for the magazine. And right now, this is just one that I kind of roughed in to show what the entries of the ad specs will look like. They'll reflect the advertiser, the page number, but also the size, shape, number of colors, whether there's bleed on the page, what products are featured in the ads in terms of their types of products and whatnot. And that is the data set that this Ad Ferret is designed to discover and curate. So with that, let's crank up the Ad Ferret. The Ad Ferret is written in Python, and as it starts up, the first thing it does is it goes out, finds that magazine ground truth storage file at the Internet Archive in our collection. It reads the print of page number map, and it reads the ad index data set, and it uses those two data sets to configure the Ad Ferret. This is the first ad. If remember, I said we would see those first few names of companies as we crank it up. In order to not hit the Internet Archive for 7,100 ads all at once, we take them in gulps of 10 companies and look up the ads for each of those 10 companies, and then are able to go from one group of 10 to another and forward and backward. So this is the Ad Ferret, and what it does is it is an efficient way for us to document the size, shape, colors and content of each of the ads in Softalk. So in this instance, we have a 2-column page. It's a half-page ad. It's a it's a horizontal ad, and this one is at position 2. It's a black and white ad. There's no bleed, and the product is called iProtect. So we'll add iProtect in there. The next ad is from another company. It's also on a 2-column page, and it's a quarter-page ad, and quarter pages are islands, and this one is in position 3. It's a black and white, no bleed. We would go through and add each of these programs in here, but for the demo, I'll just say this has multiple programs on it. And we'll go, and another one. This is basically another 2-column quarter-page island ad at position 3. It's black and white. It's no bleed. Again, some multiple programs. We don't want to take the time to list individually. But here, now we can start to see some of the efficiencies that the Ad Ferret provides. The 3M company, big company, made and sold diskettes, the 5.25-inch diskettes that were required for early microcomputers. This one is a full-page ad, so it's 1 column. It's a full-page ad. It's at position 1. It is full color. There is bleed, and it's 4 3M diskettes. Now, since the 3M company ran 3M diskette full-page ads month after month, we can now say this is a repeat, this is a repeat, this is a repeat, this is a repeat. And so a very efficient way, because when we start going through ads across 48 issues of magazines by each company, we find lots of similarities. And you might think, oh, just the big advertisers that advertised a lot would benefit from this kind of efficient data entry. But in fact, here's the next one comes up. This is a small company that was advertising. It's 2-column page. It's a quarter-page ad. It's in position 4. It's black and white. There's no bleed. And this is for Scotch. This is a reseller selling Scotch diskettes. Another big maker of diskettes at that time. So we've got their ad, and same thing. They're running this ad month after month. This time it's in position 3, but it's still a Scotch ad, quarter-page ad. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let me say it's position 3. We do another one at position 3, another one at position 3, another one at position 3. Now we're back to position 4. Another one, this time on a bestseller page. They paid a little extra for that, I'm sure. This is in position 4. Back to position 3. Oops, excuse me, I keep hit the wrong button again. And another in position 3. Now, here, the way magazines work, this would be a half-page ad. Since they didn't have a half-page ad made up specifically, what the company AB Computers is doing is running 2 quarter-page ads on a half-page, but they're paying for half a page. So this is a half-page ad. It's a vertical in position 2, and it's black and white, no bleed, and it's swapper, stopper, and Scotch diskettes. Now, I haven't yet hooked up the products data set, but obviously, and you'll see that this is a, if we add this in here, this is a checkboxed list box, so that as we build up our knowledge of companies and their products, you won't have to enter every product. You'll just be checking the ones that the ad is covering. So we've got this one. This one's actually we have to chase down. It's not an AB Computers, and it may be that the ad index had a wrong page, or we may have misread it. So we'll chase that one down. But in the meantime, we'll just say it's another one of these. We still have a couple of these, and in position 2 and position 1. Okay. So as you see, we can go forward and backward by groups of organizers, advertisers, excuse me, and curate all those ads. And as we build up this data, we run it out, and in fact, we're even turning the images into storable ASCII data that we can use in our reloading if we want to take a stop along the way. But that's what we're doing. We will soon, now that we have this level of functionality, we'll soon be able to have a complete data set of all of the ads in Softalk magazine, what products are advertised, what size the ads are, all of that discovered and curated metadata about the structure of ads in Softalk magazine. Thanks for watching. We look forward to being able to provide you even more exciting information about the work being done by FactMiners and the Softalk Apple project.